Welcome to DG's Courtroom, brought to you by No Halftime. No Halftime is a DFS app that allows you to play one-on-one fantasy contests. Use promo code BBALL100 to get a deposit bonus worth up to $100. You can download the No Halftime app on the Apple Store or Amazon.com. This episode of DG's Courtroom is also sponsored by Draft, a daily fantasy app where your chances of winning are almost 3 times better than on FanDuel or DraftKings. On Draft, it's draft day every day. You can do a simple snake draft for one day whenever you want. Drafts take just minutes to complete. Download Draft now. Be sure to enter the promo code DFBPOD when you download to get a 100% deposit bonus. And with that, we are off. Welcome to the show for Sunday, December 25th, 2016. It is Christmas. Merry Christmas to you all. Happy holidays. The judge is here, grinding away on Christmas for you guys. Who else does a Christmas show for you except the judge? I am here. I am tired. I am fatigued. I'm not drunk, though. I'm sober. And a beautiful Sunday Christmas slate. One of my favorite days of the year, not only to watch basketball, but to play DFS. Just a phenomenal day of basketball. Starting at noon, guys, be careful. The lineup block is noon. I know it's tricky. It's weird if it's going to feel odd. Also, normally basically on a regular slate, lineup blocks, 7 p.m. Eastern. And then, normally we find out by the latest 1 a.m. Eastern. So, 6-7 hours. On Christmas, on Sunday, games start at, 12 o'clock Eastern. Don't end till 1 a.m. Eastern because there's a 10:30 p.m. game. I mean, there's basically, they spread out the games. So there's, one every couple hours. So, we're waiting like 13 hours to see who's going to take down GPPs, take down Chambers, and win money in all the tournaments and all the cash games. So it's a long day of basketball. Settle in. Should be fun, though. You can also spend some time with your family as well. But the judge is here to help you with the slate. It's an awesome slate. One of the best parts about the 5 games on Christmas is that everyone else in the NBA is watching the games. So they're basically the closest thing you're going to get in the regular season to playoff games. All the starters see big minutes for the most part. Everyone plays to win. Very rarely do you get blowouts. You normally have really good games. So good day of basketball. And let's get to it, man. Before we start the show, since the judge is giving you a present, my present to you is this lovely podcast on Christmas. For me, if you guys could rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, that would be fantastic. I know a lot of you guys were doing that and sending me screenshots. The judge loves to see that. The bailiff loves to see it. I've been teaching the bailiff how to read. He's not the best at reading, but when I show him a screenshot of you guys rating and reviewing the podcast, he is very. He starts like foaming at the mouth. Kind of like similar to when I'm gonna give him a treat. That's like a treat to him. So if you could rate and review, be much appreciated. Also, make sure you've downloaded the app Draft, and then make sure to enter the right promo code. It's DFBPOD. If you've downloaded and haven't entered the correct promo code, make sure you let the judge know. Find me on Twitter at DanielAGreen1, and we'll rectify that. And then you guys have been doing a good job of challenging me on that app as well and taking all my money because I've been hiding under desks trying to do these awesome snake drafts with you. But it's a lot of fun, so I hope you guys have been enjoying the app, and let's continue to do that. Let's talk about Chambers real quick. So I've already opened up 2 Chambers. I opened them on Christmas Eve. Everyone likes to open up a Christmas Day present, a Christmas present, on Christmas Eve, a day early. So I opened up 2 Chambers, and they still filled really fast. I was a little surprised how fast they filled. I've opened them, I think, around 10 p.m. Eastern or 11 p.m. Eastern. So I may do one more. I've already got, a bunch of tweets and DMs asking for another chamber. So we'll probably do one more before the games kick off. Right now it's about 3 a.m. On Christmas Eve or on Christmas. So Chambers is going to be definitely up and running for Sunday. It should be like I said, it should be a real fun day. Also, if you want to do a consultation with the judge, holler at me. You can email me via on my website, DG Courtroom, or it's dgcourtroomdfs.com, or you can just tweet at me if you want to do that. I've been doing 1 or 2 a day. Those have been going really well, a lot of fun. If there's something wrong in the process, you don't know you're entering the wrong type of contest, entering the wrong type of lineup, reach out to the judge, and we'll see if we can get you on the right track. Chambers on Friday. There was no basketball Sunday. Hope you guys survived the day of no basketball. It was odd, but it looks like we made it through. So Chambers on Friday was the best of the best day. So congrats to all of you who made it. We had someone who made it. Usually in the best of the best, I'll give out a wild card entry or two if I'm feeling generous. I felt generous on Friday. I gave out a wild card. And this guy took down the best of the best Chambers. That is not supposed to happen, but it did. C. Townvin. It was his first cash of the year, his first win, obviously, and his first, obviously, best of the best. So congrats to him. In second place was our number one ranked players, number one ranked player in Chambers, SCAS, fucking fantasy on Twitter, and the judge took third. Third does nothing for the judge. Where's my gavel? Here's my gavel. You guys hear that? Here, I don't know if you can hear that now. I struck the gavel down. I object to finishing third. Other Chambers, we had 3 going on Friday. Ignorant Devil, congrats to him. He won his first. That's his first win and his first cash of the year. And then B. Zarati, who's been a long time follower of mine, got his first win of the year, but his third cash. He's been playing. He plays Chambers sporadically, so he's a pretty good player. So congrats to him as well. And I've not updated the power rankings for this week yet, but I will make sure to do that before Monday. So I'll probably do that sometime on Christmas. And yeah, so look for that. And I'll definitely tweet that out when that happens. Injury news for Christmas Day. Oladipo still questionable with the sprained right wrist. Chunky Waffle House Julius Randle is going to play, so that yucks it up. I mean, the one thing, the biggest problem on Sunday is not a lot of value. And Julius Randle being back, that stinks because they're otherwise, a lot of those Lakers, guys like Thomas Robinson, we were able to play, and even other guys, the usage rate went way up when Randle was out. Now that he's back, that hurts a lot of the other Lakers that I otherwise was looking to play. Chris Paul, this is the biggest one of the day. I mean, Chris Paul has a hamstring pull or a hamstring strain or a hamstring issue. We don't know if he's going to play. Their game's not till 10:30 p.m. The last game of the night, I'm pretty sure, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. We are not going to know. Yeah, last game of the night. Clippers at Lakers. We're not going to know before lineup lock. I mean, I'd be shocked if we know that if Chris Paul's going to play. So we're going to have to make an educated guess. Everyone wants to play on Christmas. But, I can't. The regular season is meaningless for the Clippers. There's no reason, if there's any doubt at all, there's no reason to risk putting Chris Paul out there. Blake's already hurt. It's against a crappy Lakers team. The Clippers can probably beat them even without Chris Paul. So, I mean, I would lean the fact that he's not playing. Plus, a hamstring is the one thing you cannot take chances with. I mean, I'm trying to think. I know Wade was dealing with hamstrings the last couple of years, and he missed 7-8 games both times. He had really mild kind of hamstring strains. So I'm not a doctor. I don't know, and the Clippers haven't given us much data on this whatsoever. But I mean, it's going to be really, especially in a cash game, super hard to play Chris Paul. If you want to play him in a tournament, because he's going to look, the point guard is so loaded on Sunday. You have all the stars in play. So if you want to play him in a tournament just to get a guy that's going to be less than 5% owned on a really small 5-game slate, that's I'm fine with it. But just know ahead of time, it's super risky. But Blake's not playing, and if Chris Paul does play against the Lakers, he could give you a 60 burger. But in a cash game, I just can't do it. I can't pull the trigger. And then let's see, that's about it for injury news. Yeah, so it's really just Chris Paul's the only one at that, and make sure Oladipo's out. All right, so over-unders, Golden State, Cleveland, probably the best game of the day that people are looking forward to watching. 222.5 over-under. Golden State's favored by 2. I'm insulted by that. Why is Golden State favored? I think the Cavs, man, show the Cavs some respect. The Cavs should be about a 2-3-point favorite. But obviously that game, it's very rare we get a game where Golden State's in a close over-under, a close spread. So that's exciting. Clippers, Lakers, 213.5. Now the interesting thing there is there is a spread. I mean, so Vegas has Clippers -6. I'm not sure why Vegas has a spread up if Chris Paul is questionable. Now, if Chris Paul was, this is a tough spread to gauge. I mean, a part of me wants to say Clippers only by 6. That's pretty good. Maybe Vegas thinks Chris Paul is going to be out. But then you think Blake's not playing anyway. So, I mean, think if there's no Blake and no CP3, I mean, it's a pretty evenly matched game, I would think. So I'm having a tough time reading that Vegas line. I don't know where the hell Vegas got that from. It's just, the judge is not happy about that at all. But, I mean, again, if I had to lean run one way right now, I would think he's not playing. But I don't know. Chris Paul, I mean, I'll say this. He is one of the toughest guys in the NBA. So I just wish I knew more about the hamstring. Boston Knicks, 212.5, great over-under. Boston favored by 2 in a really good game. Minnesota OKC, another really nice juicy game, 209.5. OKC favored by 5. So our 4 out of the 5 games have terrific over-unders and really nice point spreads. If there's going to be a blowout on Sunday, everything points to being the Bulls at the Spurs. The Bulls have been playing like crap. They're losing to just dreadful teams, losing at home, losing at the road. They've already lost to teams like Dallas and the Lakers, and they just look a mess. And the Spurs have been great because they're the Spurs. If this wasn't on Christmas Day, right now, I would say the Spurs are going to win this by 20 easy. The fact that it's on Christmas Day maybe makes me think that, maybe somehow the Bulls can keep this close. They're going to be playing super hard. And Rondo, the one thing I do hate that Buster, but he does play really well in national TV games. So, I mean, I don't know. I have a feeling that the Bulls can somehow try to muck it up and keep that game close. But either way, that's by far the lowest over-under of the day. And that is the game you're going to want the lowest exposure to guys, especially in cash games. In tournaments, go ahead. But for cash games, there's not a whole lot from that game that I want. Teams playing up in pace. The judge loves pace. Even on Christmas, I love pace. The Cleveland Cavaliers are playing way up in pace against Golden State, obviously. The Clippers playing way up in pace against the Lakers. Minnesota playing nice up in pace against OKC. That Minnesota OKC game is super juicy because the minutes are, who's getting the minutes. It's a close game. Yeah, I like that. That might be the biggest game besides Cleveland Golden State that I like to target. And it's a sneaky game to target because everyone's going to be flocking to the Cleveland Golden State game in terms of that high over under. And everyone's just going to want to watch that game. And typically when people want to watch that game, they tend to play players in that game. It makes sense, even if they do it subconsciously. So those are the teams I'm targeting the most. And when Boston's playing up in pace against the Knicks. Defensive versus position. Does anything stick out to the judge? I mean, the Lakers suck at everything, but we already know that. Cleveland, you can attack Cleveland at shooting guard all year. You've been able to do that. And J.R. Smith is out. So in theory, I guess that I think they're still starting Liggins, Griggins, Jiggins, whatever that guy's name is. He stinks. Shumpert's going to get the variety of minutes, get the majority of minutes, I would think. And Shumpert's a much better defender than J.R. Smith was anyway. So I'm not going to read too much into that. Other things that stick out to me, the Knicks cannot defend shooting guard position. So maybe Avery Bradley, even though he's got his usage rate keeps plummeting down, and he's not a guy I've been looking to roster recently. At this, let's see, power forward. That's the Lakers. You can attack them everywhere. Nothing else really sticks out. All right, let's hop into the plays, my friends. All right. So the first decision we have to make every day, Christmas is no different. Do we want to unwrap Russell Westbrook? I do. I want to play with some Westbrook on Sunday. I want to open up a nice, shiny, the best president there is, right? Russell Westbrook. I couldn't think of a good analogy. You got to cut me some slack, man. It's been a super long day. You guys know how it is, right? We're with the family all day long or whatever you're doing. It's just yeah. Sometimes holidays can be more stressful than regular days. Anyway, Westbrook, he's 12.6K. So the price hasn't gone up. I keep waiting for it to get around 13K. Last game out against Boston, he was phenomenal down the stretch. 73 FanDuel points. It sounds like a video game, man. The last 4 games, 73, 63, 68, 73. I mean, look, there's point guard is loaded, and this is the way that I'm approaching the slate. I need 90 FanDuel points for my 2 guards in cash games and tournaments. In tournaments, maybe I want to shoot for even higher. But cash games, I want about 90 FanDuel points. So, what's going to get you there? Do you want to go a Westbrook and a Rubio, a Westbrook and a Rondo, or maybe a Curry and an Isaiah Thomas? And for me, give me the Westbrook all day. Like Westbrook is going to give me a nice. I think the floor is like 55. It's probably closer to 60, quite honestly, on Christmas Day. So I'm gonna be playing Westbrook again in cash. If you want to fade him, like I understand the rationale for it because you can get a Curry, a Thomas, a Kyrie. I mean, all the other the top notch stars are playing. Even CP3 if he does play. So I get it, but in cash games, I will be using Russell Westbrook 100% of my cash games. In tournaments, he's obviously an elite play as well, and I and the problem is there's not a ton of value. So he definitely does make it difficult for the rest of your lineup, but I think he's worth doing it. If he puts up a 70 burger, you are going 70 would be okay, I guess. He puts up like an 80-90 burger though. You're not gonna be able to win. So yeah, Westbrook cash games for me in tournaments, elite play. Chris Paul, I mentioned that. Like I just don't know. Like I'm leaning towards he won't play, but I bet you he's gonna beg to play. So like I don't know. Just cash games? I'm not. There's no way in hell I would do it in cash games. If I have 10 lineups, I guess if I have 10 lineups, maybe I throw them in one. But it would probably be the cheapest tournament that I play in because I'm scared of it. God, the Lakers though. So Steph Curry, 8.6K. The next three guys are. I mean, you basically have the next three guys are in a tier. You have Westbrook's a tier by himself. Then tier 2 is Curry, Isaiah Thomas, and Kyrie Irving. Curry's 8.6K. Isaiah's 8.4, and Kyrie is 8K. Now, normally the Golden State guys I avoid at all costs. I really I do not play them in cash games. I played Durant in cash games to start the year, and then he's been porous for a stretch. He's picked it up again lately a little bit, but normally I just don't want any Warriors in cash games because they beat everyone by 30, and it's no fun. If there's a day that you can roster Curry in cash, it would probably be this day. 8.6K is a very fair price for him. I mean, he's got to get you, 42 FanDuel points. He's been close to that the last few games, 40, 36, 41. I think his floor is probably about 35, and the ceiling is, the ceiling could be 60, 65. So he's fine. He's totally fine for cash. I don't mind it one bit. In tournaments, he's obviously a very, very good play. I mean, anytime you can get Golden State in a close game where Curry's going to get potentially 36, 38 minutes. And I think like this game is definitely more important for Golden State than it is Cleveland. Like, what does LeBron care? Dude's been in the league 32 years, and they won the title last year. Like, this is a statement game for Golden State, not the Cavs. So Golden State's going to be gung ho, playing all out, going to win. Not the Cavs aren't, but I just think Golden State's going to. This is a bigger game for them, and their psyche. So yeah, Curry's fine in all formats. Isaiah Thomas. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I have a feeling out of Westbrook, Curry, Thomas, and Kyrie that Isaiah is going to be the kind of the odd one out, just on like name recognition alone. So he becomes like a somewhat of a sneaky contrarian play, but he's been awesome lately. 48, 43, and 62. The usage rate is just superb. I mean, the dude has a usage rate right now of 35%. Curry's at barely at 29.7%. So not even at 30%. Kyrie's at 30.6%. So, I mean, Isaiah Thomas, yeah, I mean, like I have no doubt I'll be using a lot of, and he's going to get some Derrick Rose defense. So I'm going to use a lot of Isaiah in tournaments. And quite honestly, I don't mind it for cash either. I really don't. If you want to roll out, you could easily roll out a Curry Isaiah cash game lineup, or if you roll out an Isaiah Kyrie. I mean, like any of these guys, Kyrie, Isaiah, Curry, and Westbrook are all fine for cash. Me personally, the fact that I'm going Westbrook, I just don't have the money to roll out a Curry, Isaiah, or Kyrie for cash. I'm going to have to probably go a value point guard for my other spot because I'm using Westbrook. But if you want to go, if I wasn't using Westbrook, man, that would be tough. I guess I would lean to Curry and Irving just because that high over-under game. But Thomas is still fine for cash, and he's an elite level tournament play. Derrick Rose, 6.4K. I just don't really want to pull the trigger on him much. On theory, he's fine. He's fine. He's 30, 38 the last two games. That's very nice production. his what's his usage these days? 27.6. So that's still, he still has a fine usage. The back spasms haven't bothered him the last couple games, so that's a plus. There's just other routes that I want to go, and in my early lineup construction, I haven't had the money to kind of fit him in. If I go Westbrook, I kind of have to spend a little bit lower than the 6.4 range, and otherwise I want to get at that's the tier 2 guys with the Thomas, Kyrie, and Curry. So I don't have a ton of rows, and I'm not overly concerned about it, but he's still fine. I mean, you can roll some rows in tournaments for sure. D'Angelo Russell, 6K. The thing Russell's prices went up, so that's annoying. But what's also gone up is his usage rate. So that's good. But then we have a negative factor, price going up. Positive factor, the usage rate's gone up. Negative factor, Waffle House Randall is back to sap his value. So if Randall was out, I was going to jump at the chance to play Russell, maybe against a CP3 list. That's hard to say. A CP3 list Lakers team, and going up against Fat Felton. Oh, ching, ching, ching. Sign me up for that. But the problem here is with Randall back, I'll use a little bit of Russell, but that hurts his value. He's finally gotten over 30 minutes the last 2 games. He's been 25 and 28 Vandal points. He's relatively, I wouldn't say he's safe. I'll say somewhat safe. But the fact that Randall's back, that makes him a tournament-only play for me. He'll be low-owned. The fact that that usage rate, though, that just stands out to me. It's screaming at the judge to play him a little bit. The last game of the night, I also do, I love, the thing with DFS that I don't know if a lot of people know or not, and if you look at all the data, this is actually legitimate, is that for some reason, people tend to play the people in the early games more than they do in the late games. And that's why the guys in Orlando are always over-owned. Who else plays early? Like guys on Detroit, teams at Washington, teams like that. Players are always on. Whereas teams that play in the West Coast, teams that play late, like the Phoenix and the Warriors and teams like that, they're always under-owned. So, and the judge, I love having players in that last game of the night. There's no worse feeling, as you guys probably, if you play DFS, by now. There's no worse feeling when you're sitting pretty, top of the leaderboard. Let's say you're on top 10 in a nice GPP. You think you're getting a nice payday, and there's one game left, and you have 0 players in that game, and you just watch, your 10th place go from 20th to 30th. You end up like a 210th, barely in the cash line, or even out of the cash line. No worse feeling. So I love grabbing players in that late game if possible, and sometimes I actually will use that as a tiebreaker. Not if it's probably a super expensive $50 entry, $25 entry fee tournament, but if it's like a $1 GPP, just to get some late night action, I'll throw on the hammer with a player in the last